The 1960s was the golden era of film franchises, ranging from James Bond to Planet of the Apes. These films have been and still are a big part of popular culture. Merchandise based on these franchises is still readily available in the market. The movie franchises of the 60s produced one of the best films of all time that have been critically acclaimed globally. So let's explore the best of these great films that came to life in the 60s.
Tell us, Mr. Wayne. What do you fear?
It's strange how some films never get old and instantly make us want more of themselves. And Batman films fall among the tiny list of such films. The 1966 Batman film was the first full-length theatrical adaptation of the world's best detective, and Batman has been an irreplaceable part of popular culture, merging into comics, TV shows, radio, video games, and more. Without a doubt, Batman is one of the most loved media franchises in cinema history. It is impossible to list down the films, TV shows, and animated series produced under the franchise, yet some of the most loved films would be The Dark Knight, Batman Begins, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, etc. Tim Burton's 1989 film Batman starred Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne and Jack Nicholson as the Joker. Furthermore, George Clooney as Batman and Chris O'Donnell as Robin starred in the 1997 film Batman and Robin. The Dark Knight trilogy, directed by Christopher Nolan, provided the franchise with an extremely realistic yet dark shade, and is considered to be the best reboot of the Caped Crusader.
The night is darkest just before the dawn.
The Dark Knight has won a series of awards, including the Empire Award for Best Film in 2008. But the only noteworthy award was the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in 2009, which Heath Ledger won posthumously. I mean, he changed the way villains were created and viewed.
No, you complete me.
Heath's dialogues have found their way into the pop culture, and his delivery has made such quotes eternal.
All you care about is money. This town deserves a better class of criminal, and I'm gonna give it to him.
Batman, without a doubt, is one of the best movie franchises of all time, a series that brings back 1,000 memories, something we can go back to at any given time.
Pardon me, sir, but what are you looking at?
Another heartthrob of the 60s, the Pink Panther is an American media franchise that began producing comedy mystery films, centering around a French cop-cum-detective named Inspector Clouseau. Written and directed by Blake Edwards, the classic Pink Panther film was released in the year 1963. The animated Pink Panther character became so popular that TV shows and cartoons were created centered around it. Designed by Holly Pratt and Friz Freleng, the cartoon had its own TV show on Saturday mornings, popularly known as the Pink Panther Show. The show obtains its name from a high-valued diamond that shows a sprinting Pink Panther when viewed closely. Among the unending list of films under this franchise, some of the most popularly loved Pink Panther films would be the Pink Panther 1963, A Shot in the Dark,
I gather the facts, examine the clues.
Inspector Clouseau,
Clouseau on another case. They wouldn't dare.
and The Pink Panther Strikes Again.
Mark my words, Francois. Sinister forces are at work.
Inspector Clouseau soon became the most popular character of the franchise, and naturally, the later films were all centered around him.
You are under arrest for the murder of Pierre Fouquet. You are under arrest for the murder of Pierre Fouquet.
According to the latest news, a new Pink Panther animated film is in the works. In the 2006 film, Inspector Jacques Clouseau is assigned to solve the murder of a famous football coach and the theft of the famous Pink Panther diamond. This was the 10th installment of the franchise and was directed by Sean Levy, starring Steve Martin as Clouseau. The staging of the physical comedy in The Pink Panther is not always adept, and director Sean Levy is no Blake Edwards, but Martin, who co-wrote the screenplay, keeps spinning in his own orbit anyway. And what an orbit it is. Originally, the animated title sequence was going to be done in CGI, but the filmmakers decided to stick to traditional, hand-drawn animation instead. When we're talking about movie franchises, James Bond has to be the center of the conversation.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
James Bond was such a rendition in the world of cinema in its time, and still holds such a big space in popular culture. The franchise has starred different actors over the years, namely Sean Connery, Daniel Craig, David Niven, George Lazenby, and others. No matter who's playing Mr. Bond, we can go back to this franchise anytime. Based on the writings of Ian Fleming, James Bond has maintained a steady hold in the movie theaters over the years. Popular under the codename 007, James Bond films have also been adapted for comic strips, TV series, animations, and more. Marked by cool gadgets, excellent action sequences, and villains, the 007 films stand out in every decade.
You have a nasty habit of surviving. Well, you know what they say about the fittest?
Some of the most loved Bond films would be Skyfall, Goldfinger, Octopussy, No Time to Die, Die Another Day, and the list goes on. The James Bond franchise is known to have generated nearly $6.89 billion worldwide, with Spectre alone making a box office hit of $900 million in the year 2015. In 1962, when the first ever Bond movie Dr. No was released in theaters, the average price of a ticket would be 70 cents, which has now risen to $9.
I admire your luck, Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Daniel Craig, with his No Time to Die, marks the best theatrical run in the history of cinema, making more than $750 million globally.
Hit it, Papa Bear. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
This Disney media franchise made its first theatrical appearance with the release of The Jungle Book. In the year 1967, Walt Disney first produced the animated musical series, The Jungle Book, based on Rudyard Kipling's novel of the same name, which won everyone's hearts. In fact, it was the last film produced by Walt Disney, who passed away during the production of the film. This animated film showed a young baby boy whose father is killed by a tiger, only for the little child to be raised by wolves. In 2003, Disney Toon Studios produced The Jungle Book 2, where it showed that the man cub, Mowgli, after growing tired with his life at the village, going back to the jungle to see his friends, where he is attacked by Shere Khan, who is more than determined to kill him this time. In 1994, Stephen Sommers directed the live-action film The Jungle Book, and in 1998, Jungle Book, Mowgli's story was released. Finally, the 2016 hit Jungle Book was directed by Jon Favreau and produced by Walt Disney Pictures. The film featured the voices of Scarlett Johansson as Kaa,
Poor sweet little cow. What are you doing so deep in the jungle?
Bill Murray as Baloo,
Relax, kid. No need to get worked up, okay?
Lupita Nyong'o as Raksha,
Never forget this. You're mine. Mine to me.
Mowgli.
Idris Elba as Shere Khan,
Given it a name.
and Ben Kingsley as Bagheera.
Maybe it's time we found another people.
This film was a time travel in the truest sense of the term for the 90s kids. After its massive success, the studio has announced that it has been working on its sequel. Furthermore, the TV show Jungle Clubs was based on the 1967 film The Jungle Book, but was set in the youth of the animal characters. The 2016 film earned almost $1 billion, and as Robbie Colling noted, Favreau's film is a sincere and full-hearted adaptation that returns to Kipling for fresh inspiration, but also knows which elements of the animation are basically now gospel, and comes up with a respectful reconciliation of the two.
Caesar is home.
Based on Pierre Baule's novel, La Planète des Singes, The Planet of the Apes is one of the most compelling and thought-provoking science fiction franchises ever. Upon its release in 1968, Planet of the Apes was a commercial success, which was followed by 4 sequels, namely Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Escape from the Planet of the Apes, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, and Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Not only films, but TV series, comics, animation films were created based on the franchise. Interestingly, Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes was released in 2001 and became a reboot of this popular franchise. The latest one of this series was the 2017 film War for the Planet of the Apes. The films received critical acclaim all over the world for dealing with issues such as racism. Such was the popularity of the franchise that Marvel Comics published several comics based on the story. Within a short period, Its popularity spread far and wide. It was a story where human beings and apes fight to control the world. The film very realistically portrays the fight between humans and apes, something so novel that it attracts viewers from all age groups. With its hugely successful theater run, the Planet of Apes franchise has made more than $2 billion. Furthermore, the first film marked the beginning of the concept of modern blockbusters and was selected by the National Film Preservation Board of U.S. Sign 2001. Be it the soundscape, the fascinating prosthetic work, or the realistic portrayal of a war between human beings and apes, you can come back to this franchise and relive the old days. That was all in this video, and if you wish to discover more of these, please like and subscribe. It may be a tiny click from you, but we will be forever grateful.